replay? Because if it's the one you
This
received
is
from
the
me, I
one
don't think.
I wanted.
This is the one that he asked for.
I don't know if it's like necessarily the best one, but we like barely even got to play the game because of how bad the early mid game went.
That
So
was that was us on May, Rhaegar, Zag, Rag, Greymane. Is that
Correct.
it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you found it. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen, by the way, for whoever's not in. So you guys want to do this one, or you guys want to do another one?
Sure. Nemigrass's choice.
Yep.
You guys all good?
This is all on me, so I'm chill with whatever.
It's a bit of a weird, funky draft, but sure.
Yeah, because like if we don't even get through the early mid, what's even the point? That's kind of how I saw it. So I thought this was a good replay for that.
For sure. Cool.
Alright, so basically the way it's gonna go is I'm just gonna ramble a lot. So at any point, feel free to interrupt me if you want to ask something or clarify something or anything like that. But yeah, just looking at both of your team comps. So I would say your team comp is definitely worse early game, just because you have Zagara, Ragnaros, which are like two very much scaling heroes, and even Greymane to some extent as well, where Greymane has a strong early game for like PvE, but not really for PvP. So already looking at this game, I think their team comp's a lot stronger in the early game, especially because they have Vala Mouth, which is like really strong for bullying the 4-man. So, you just like you always want to like whenever you go into a draft is kind of think about how they want to play, how you want to play, like what your strengths are, what their strengths are. So anytime you're like against Malfurion, you know that their strengths are gonna be sustain. Same with like Vala as well as kind of like sustain battles. And then you guys on the other hand have like more of a like PvE type comp, I'd say, where your huge strength is all of your heroes have really strong PvE capabilities. Like Greymane can do camps, Rhaegar can do camps, Rag has good wave clear, Zagara can push towers and stuff. So I'll definitely be looking to avoid fights with your comp and try to get to a late game. Especially, I'd say probably your comp comes online at 16 once Zagara gets her Roach talent. Because I'd say until then, it's going to be pretty hard for you guys to get any kills.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so I see you guys have Zagbot. That's pretty good, especially because of the York matchup. And then, so it does make your 4-man a little awkward, though, since you have Rag in the 4-man. So one thing you could also do, if you want to lane setup like this, for like Zag in the bottom, is you could start with Rag down here, and then he can help Zag clear the first lane, and then rotate up. That way Zagara can already start building the towers. Or you could start Rag top lane, and then you can kind of have like a 1-3-1 setup where Rag is top, like clearing every time the wave comes in top, he's clearing, and then you three are clearing mid here, and Zag is like pressuring bottom. And this kind of lets your Rag kind of play the game because otherwise, in the 4-man, just on his own, he's not gonna, or in the 4-man with everyone, he's not gonna be able to do anything because both their range heroes are just gonna keep hitting him. Yeah, like your 4-man, there's no way you guys could ever fight them because
So isn't it okay if we just like give up mid prio and just soak at towers?
it's fine if you guys are side clearing. So like if like right now you guys lose this wave because Jaina just one shots it and then Vala is just running at you guys and you have no one to trade with Vala because even if Greymane, who's your only range hero, tries to hit Vala, Malfurion is always gonna out heal any damage you do back to her. And they have like just more range and more damage overall. So you guys can never really step up and fight on this wave with your team comp. So the best thing you could do, I would say, is like side clear. So like imagine Ragnaros was top lane right now, and he just like side clear top, or like I said, he could start bottom here with Zag, and they could immediately start pressuring these towers down here, and that gives Zag kind of like room to start putting creep a little bit further up and like to start pressuring Leo out a lot more.
The next issue I had was we did end up having Rag top a couple times, but we also ended up dying top because obviously their 4-man just rotates top sooner.
Yeah, so it is important to know like whenever they're rotating, and that'll come with like columns as well. Well, actually, let me go on your guys' vision. Probably make it a bit more realistic. So yeah, it's good to like always be communicating. Like, okay, they have mid prio, and this is like something you should already know, but like it's good to always communicate as well. Like they're missing, they have mid prio, and whenever they have a stronger 4-man like this, you kind of want to play to your strong side instead of your weak side. So like Zagara, she's the best matchup you have in this game because she like destroys Leoric. So if you left Rag top and he kind of just stayed at his towers up here, or he tried to clear whenever they're in mid, like all showing in mid, then you guys could float towards the Zagara and give her a lot of cover, and maybe start pressuring towers with her as well, and maybe you could even pressure bottom siege camp. So it's really important to like try to play to your strength as much as you can. So like for instance, for them, their strength is their 4-man, so it makes sense that they're just mid top, you know, which is like the standard, and they're kind of just leaving Leo on his own. But for you guys, it's like should be the opposite, where Zagara is your strong point, so you should be like trying to play off of her more. And so yeah, like here as like there's no way you guys could ever win, so it's like kind of just pointless. And one thing you could also do, like in that situation, I mean, you guys are like testing it out now, so it's fine. Like you didn't really know probably if you win or not, so you're kind of just normally rotating. But as soon as like a death like that happens, it's good to like start to readjust your plan and be like, okay, it seems like their 4-man stronger. Let's do some camps, which is good. You guys are doing hards right away, so I like this a lot. Doing hards right away, and then with this, you guys can maybe pressure bottom siege camp as well and look for that potentially.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good. Off clearing tops, like this is what I like is the off clear here, where this is where Rag can actually like play the game. Because if he goes mid, he's gonna have to wait anyways. So it's good to like go for that off clear, and that frees you guys up for a lot more now. So yeah, if I was you on Greymane, I would have just stayed here because half HP is plenty. You could sneak all the way around to bottom, or maybe you could even have Rhaegar help you, and you guys could pressure bottom camp really fast. So you want to kind of abuse your tempo. Like right now, you're kind of resetting your tempo, but in this situation, because you guys off clear top, you have a lot of tempo here on the map because they have to send one to top. So if you guys immediately ran to bottom camp, like let's say you and Rhaegar immediately ran to bottom camp and Rag and May stayed and cleared mid together, then you guys would be faster to the siege camp. And if they wanted to contest, they'd either have to sacrifice top wave or they would have, most likely they'd have one here soaking top, and you guys could like 5v4 if they actually fought over it. But most likely they would just concede it, especially because Zagara's winning the matchup.
Okay.
So usually, yeah, like what I like to do is on this map, anytime you do hards, immediately like think if you could instantly do easies. And the biggest tells for that would be like how the top side is going. So like here, it's very clear indicator that like your top side's winning since your Rag off cleared it. And also you want to look at how your bottom lane is doing. So like if you're in an unfavorable bottom lane matchup, like for instance for them, they're probably like, okay, we probably can't go for bottom because our Leo's already chunked, probably already used tap, and Zag has creep everywhere. So yeah, that could have been an opportunity for you guys, potentially. Also, one other small thing is, this is kind of like a little bit more advanced, but what you could do whenever both of you are doing hards like this, is you could freeze the wave here. Like someone tanks the wave right here. Like
Yeah.
this. Yeah, then you just hold it, and then that way your hards will be like in a way safer spot, you know?
Yeah.
Just to make it easier to clear. So that's always like one thing you could do is either you hold your camp long enough to where the next wave comes, which you kind of did already. Maybe a little bit capped too early.
Totally intentional.
Yeah, unintentionally worked out. But yeah, like if you held that wave as well, it would have been a lot better as well. And here, yeah, just a little too far up on the. Anytime they're missing like that, especially because you know they just capped their hards. I guess you actually see them top. This was definitely a little risky because you don't know where any of them are. So really scary to step up like this. I think you guys have to burn cleanse for that. And also important knowing like when cleanse is down and everyone's aware of that. So making sure you always communicate that as a team. Everyone's aware anytime cleanse is down. So here again, this is probably where I would send Rag top and do the same thing. Like anytime they're 4-manning, you guys just want to avoid that. And Rag can keep creating this pressure. And every time you get top priority, that allows you some opportunity. So like Rag goes and clears top. There's still 4v3. You guys kind of back up in the 3-man. And then whenever they send one top, like Vala or Jaina or whoever, then you guys can maybe look for the 4v3. Or you guys, like I said, you could maybe start floating towards bot side, paying some gems bottom, or maybe even pressuring the siege camp bottom. So just in general, whenever you have the weaker 4-man, you never really want to be playing into them.
Okay.
But I mean, you guys get even clear, so it's not too bad. And see, and Racco Salbus is good. Vala actually comes bot to help. So this could be another opportunity as soon as... Actually, you guys could maybe even fight this here. So like, you saw Vala bottom here. So Rag can kind of man up here. Because they could only pressure him with 3. So that could actually been a good play for you to like bait them to go on you there as Rag. If you like recognize that Vala was bottom. So just recognizing that you guys have numbers up here. And it looks like you guys do go for it, but it's just a little bit too late at this point. And so here again, I'd say you guys lost tempo because you had the 4v3 up here for... I mean, you were still clearing mid wave, so you had like a very small window here, and it probably had to be like Rag manning up on the wave and baiting. But as soon as they're out like this, it's going to be pretty hard to catch them. So like all of this right here is kind of wasted time in a way because they're pretty happy just running away as 3, and Vala is helping Leo reset right now.
Right.
But overall, this is still good. I mean, you guys are clearing all the waves. Maybe you can pay some gems in here right now as well. Oh, that's also another thing you can do, yeah. Whenever you're 4v3 up here, like whenever Vala goes bottom, you could always try to pay in that situation. But yeah, one thing I'd say is I really would have liked for y'all to have gone for this bottom siege camp a lot earlier in this game because it would play into the strength of Zagara a lot, and it would allow her to push even harder.
So the best time to do that would have been right after the bruiser camp.
Yeah, right after bruiser camp, or just anytime you have top prio. So like even there, whenever Rag clear top, so you guys went for the 3v4 a little bit earlier, so that was also fine. But another thing you could have done is just all sprinted to bottom because Rag already fast cleared it. So you guys were in mid, and y'all decided to go try to gank top, which was fine. But another option you could have done was go down and take that advantage from the top wave. So it's like kind of all about the top wave because that frees you up to all go down, and like usually you only need 1 or 2 people to go help and do it, but it's always good to be able to rotate if you have to. Like in case they do decide to contest, it's good to have that top prio so that if they do contest it, they have to lose the top wave for it, or they'll be late because they were clearing top wave. But I mean, you guys are scaling up, and you guys have rack for it as well if they get turn in, so it's not a huge deal. As long as no one dies, that's the biggest thing. Is it's always good. It's always fine to concede turn in on this map, but it's if you die for it, it's not fine, you know. So it's better to like not even risk it and just give it if it ever looks risky. Especially if you've got good wave clear, which you guys all have really good wave clear. Oh man, they caught me. Did he not have... I don't know if he used D already. Oh yeah, he didn't have D.
Yeah, that was just me inting. That was stupid.
Sad. Sad scam game. Yeah, it's kind of just them having mid prio, so it's like kind of scary for you to show yourself. I think Rack should get out though, yeah, it's fine. So like here already, you know that they're gonna pay top and your May's dead, so I would already start running to bottom with like Greymane and Rhaegar. So like anytime something happens on one side of the map, you should always try to be as active as possible. So like, yeah, it sucks the May died, but it could open up opportunity for you guys. Like as soon as you see that she's dead, you can't save her, I would immediately just sprint to bottom lane and see if you can get like a Leo consolation prize, or at the very least you can help your Zagara reset and push in this lane so that this lane doesn't do as much damage. So just anytime like they have an advantage on one side of the map, whether they got a pick or let's say they're like 16 to 14 and they're like sieging your top whatever and like you're just gonna concede it, it's always good to like go bot side and try to do something.
Okay.
So yeah, like right there, I wouldn't even try to pay because first of all, you only have 3 gems. But second of all, like you know that they're probably already paying anyways. So I wouldn't have gone for this unless you had like 30 gems or something. Instead, I would have tried to jump on this Leo, or maybe just clear the wave with the Zagara.
Yeah. Quick question. When you say like run to bot lane, like is that because of just where bot lane is or because Leo is low? Like what's the driving factor there?
The driving factor is that they won like the top side fight. So like your Mei is
Okay.
dead, and there's nothing you guys can do. And the wave's already cleared too, so it's kind of like a few things. But mainly it's just yeah, your Mei is dead, so now you're weak on this side of the map. There's nothing you two can do top, and you know that. You know you guys are kind of just chilling over here. Like so my point is like instead of just passively chilling here and like trying to figure out what to do, it should like already be your natural response to go on the other side of the map and try to get some value there. So it's like all about just trying to get value. It's like they got a ton of value here. They killed your Mei. They're gonna pay. So you can kind of try to neutralize that a bit by going down here, and it helps that he's low as well, and that your Zagara is low as well. So like I think it makes it even more natural decision for me of like, oh yeah, let me go down there and see if I can kill Leo, or at least like
Right.
force him to base. Something
Even
like
if I just clear the wave 1 second faster, then if I didn't go, that's still what I should be trying to do.
yeah, exactly. Of like just go to the other side and yeah, even just helping her clear the way or helping her back or just always like trying to be active on the map. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Of like
Okay.
up here, there's nothing you can do. They're all full HP. Your tank's dead. There's no way, and you guys are already weaker, even if Mei was alive. It's like there's nothing you can do up here. Anytime there's nothing you can do on one side of the map, instead of just like chilling, you just want to like go on the other side and see if you can do something else. But another option would have been if your hard camp was up, then that would be the natural play of like let's go do our hard camp or something like that, right? Bottom camp's up. Let's go. We know they're gonna pay top. Let's go do bottom camp. But here, like all the camps are gone, so the only thing you could really do is just tell your Zag to back and go clear the way for her, and that'll at least win you a little bit of time because now Zag be back to clear the spiders.
Yeah.
And maybe you kill a Leo, right? You never know, and that'll get you some XP back. So it's always good to try. Okay, so here I'd say it's kind of weird, but the best setup would actually probably be Greymane side clearing and Rag using Fort. So personally, I would probably send Greymane top right now and just have him clear the spider, and then use the Rag Fort with Mei and Rhaegar to try to defend mid.
Because mid is further pushed up.
Yeah, mid's rather push out, and also because they're going mid. So anytime like they're gonna group in one lane, you want to try to clear out the side lanes as fast as possible and like match with 3. So usually it's like 1-3-1. So like let's say they're 4 men pushing mid, which they probably are. Then you just want your 3 men to match, and your 3 man changes like depending on the game. So it's usually like the DPS hero who can defend the best. So like sometimes it would be a Chromie or Jaina or Gul'dan or whatever, and then your tank and healer, and then your 1-1 would be your solo laners. So like usually it would be like a false set up here or like whoever, like Tracer, whoever is like kind of the side guy, Genji, whatever, who doesn't really defend well against multiple people. But in this case, I'd say it's like kind of unique since you have Rag for it, where Rag can, so wherever they go, so like let's say they're a top, you would do the same thing, like 3 top, 1 mid, 1 bottom. So like anytime they're grouping up, you always want to try to figure out who should defend where. And yeah, usually it's like solo laner down here, and then wherever they group is the 3 men, and then in the side lane it's whoever your like not 3 men DPS is. That way like top isn't just latently getting value, you know? And you can like if you deal with it right away, then now Greymane can come down and maybe help fight later on. Okay, so they actually go top. So yeah, this is perfect. Like this is the perfect split I'm talking about. Greymane gets the free clear mid, Zag gets the free clear bottom, and you guys 3-man match top. Now they run back to mid, but this is still fine overall since you basically free cleared. So yeah, I'd say this is a really successful defense. They basically only got they almost got Mei, but
Whoa.
that was close. Yeah, this is what you call a pretty successful defense. Anytime they don't get a fort on the first turn in, you should be pretty happy with that. So that's good that you guys kind of cut your losses after Mei died, and you kind of naturally split into the way that I wanted you guys to, so that was good. And so yeah, now it'll just be camp time as soon as they stop pushing. So yeah, do camps again. You can send your Rag top. So this is where Rag would go top probably. to clear that side wave. Oh, you guys are looking for some kills. Oh, you're looking at pay, I see.
A little bit of both, I guess.
I'm surprised they let you pay here. So yeah, this I wouldn't have even expected you guys would be able to pay here. But it worked out, I guess.
I was also
Yeah,
very
you're 9
surprised
to
we had
10. They
pay.
just let you pay.
I have no idea we were allowed to be there.
Hey, we'll take it, I guess. And so now you guys want to decide your own split. So it's usually the same thing, 1-3-1. And so now, yeah, this is perfect lanes. So even though, like, when I was talking about defending, I said Greymane was the one, but that was because Rag had his trait, right? But now that Rag doesn't have trait, this is a perfect split for you guys. Where Rag is top, Zagara's bottom, and you three are pressuring mid. And another thing to know is, like, you can always be flexible with the lanes depending on how it's going. So let's say Rag clears top lane, and they send like Jaina up here. Well, Rag can't really siege that well into Jaina, so maybe Rag groups mid with you guys, and you guys try to pressure 4v3 over here. Or maybe on the flip side, let's say they put all their numbers in mid, and they like try to overstack mid, then maybe you guys just leave mid and you go join the Rag since he cleared the wave, and you guys just all push Rag or push top with Rag. And even another option you could do is like, let's say Zagara gets Leoric really low, and Zagara's doing really well on the push. You guys can always rotate bottom and dive the Leoric and take his fort. So should always be just trying to figure out and always communicating with each other, right? That's the key thing. So like maybe Rag would say I'm coming mid, or you guys want to come top, or like, maybe someone else would say, hey, Leoric's really low bottom, come dive him, you know? So it's all up to you guys on like figuring out what to do and just trying out different ideas and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
But in this situation, since you do have the hards, I think I'd probably personally prefer like overloading mid here. So like I would probably call Rag to mid here as soon as top wave's cleared. Which it looks like he's doing. Yeah, so this is really this is where you go for kills. This is where you play aggressive. Because you know that Jaina is or Vala is top. So I probably would have just ripped the wall a lot earlier here.
Yeah.
So yeah, always recognizing when you have advantage is super, super important. So you guys have your camp here. You know Rag has priority here. And so as soon as you see Vala, like right now, this is where I would rip it. Because you got Rag coming in, right? And it's easy 4v3 here.
I should have just thrown a Q at their wall, put an ice wall on top of it, and then when Rag came in, just self smash.
Yeah, that would be beautiful. The Q slow for the wall. Yeah, for sure. So just like pulling the trigger earlier, I'd say. So always looking at the map and figuring out like, okay, Vala's top. We got a 4v3 here, and we've got a wave tanking the tower, so we're not worried about the tower. So let's just rip it, especially with Rag on the way. Like even if Rag wasn't here, I'd say maybe you still engage because they're so far up. So even 3v3, you'd maybe want to go for this. But 4v3 is definitely you want to go for this.
It should be Diablo, right?
Honestly, anyone. Like you can. So as soon as you see Vala top, you just look for the best engage possible. I mean, you should also know that they have cleanse, right? So that's something to keep in mind of like the Ragnaros players should be aware that if Malf isn't the one in the wall, then he's probably going to cleanse self smash. So maybe you go for the Blizzard first. Yeah, like as soon as I see Vala, yeah, I'd probably just queue the Diablo and try to, maybe I can, yeah, I'd like do a wall like this, you know, maybe, and see if you can hit Diablo and Jaina. And maybe force cleanse, like maybe you don't even kill anything, but just the idea of the engage on its own, I think is really good to just go for whenever you have numbers like this. Oh no, what did I? Pulled up the stats, I don't know, get rid of this. Oh well, whatever. Oh, it's actually so annoying. Anyone know the hotkey for this? Oh, there we go. Got it. But yeah, so yeah, I just would have went a little bit earlier, I'd say. And yeah, it kind of sucks you got flipped into into the towers. That's actually tragic.
Yeah, I did too long and too early.
Yeah, and yeah, probably just
I think
overall,
you can
I'd say
get
just
out
needed
if the
to.
rest of the three were hitting the sidewall there.
Yeah, I was looking at the sidewall health that whole time, just being like, "Oh, no one's hitting."
I think you need to be screaming to hit the sidewall there.
Rhaegar's smacking that wall. Oh no. Tragic. Okay, so unfortunate, but now you gotta decide your next move. And what I would do is I would still go bottom here because top's already cleared, and they're still dealing with mid. So even though Mei is dead, you could still set up like an even numbers fight on bottom, or at least some more pressure on bottom. So always recognizing like where to go on the map is super crucial here. And like top, there's nothing you can do. The wave's already cleared. Vala's up here. Nothing really gonna happen here. But instead, bottom, the spider is still super healthy. So I would go and reinforce Zagara here. And if they match you, like if they follow you, you're still 4v4 until Vala rotates all the way down. And you'll be able to see her rotating down. You'll have like plenty of time.
So you're saying all three of us
Yeah,
mid
yeah.
currently should go bottom.
Yeah, just sprint straight to bot and see if you can dive to Leo, see if you can poke him out. Or at the very least, you just help Zagara siege here. And you also like give her some reinforcements. You see, like right now, let's say you guys all go top, which you're all going top. If all three of these guys go bottom, or even let's say they leave Jaina to clear mid, right? Like Jaina, you clear mid spider. Diablo and Mouth, they're gonna go bottom. Now Zagara has to run away. And Zagara's like, oh man, like I had a full spider here, now I have to run away. Where's my team? And meanwhile, the team is just sitting here looking at nothing, you know, because the spider is already gone. So like it's always important to like figure out where the value is on the map. So like here, there's no value you can really gain because the spider is already cleared. So instead, you want to reinforce the Zag. And so if Diablo Malf do come, well, you guys can still man up. You guys can be like, okay, Diablo Malf are here. Well, that's only Diablo Malf and Leoric. And we have Zagara, Greymane, Rhaegar, and Rag. Of course, we don't have Ancestral, so we're a little bit scared. And of course, we don't have our main tank. But at least we have our spider here, and at least we can keep applying some pressure. And you'll have plenty of time to see when their DPS rotate down as well. So you can like react to that and run if you have to.
Okay.
Also, another good thing about going bottom is the only camp up for you guys is also bottom. So that's like another positive there of like siege camp is the only camp for you guys. Like their hards are up and bottom's up out of this. So if you guys like go bottom, let's say you guys pressured with Zagara here, as soon as your last spider died, you guys could have taken the siege camp as well. But instead you guys go top, they followed you, they killed Rag, and Zagara also gets ganked and loses 30 gems. So yeah, I'd say that this is a huge, probably the biggest turning point of the game so far. Because yeah, it hurts a ton because I mean, first of all, 30 gems. But second of all, look how much damage that got on the fort. Like imagine you guys were here with her. You guys could have definitely gotten this fort. And like I said, like getting a fort on first turn in, that's like the dream. Like anytime you lose a fort on first turn in or you get a fort on first turn in, that's absolutely massive. So that should be always your main focus. And kind of like I said in mid of like, whenever your turn in first comes in and you set up your lanes, like you guys have that 1-3-1, Rag clearing top, you guys 3 mid, Zagara clear bot, you should always be like flexible and thinking about where to go next. And that's also like dealing with communication as well. So like Rag cleared top, y'all saw Vala top, you went for the engage, didn't work out, got scuffed, Mei died. It's fine, but you still have time to react to that and be like, okay, Zagara's still smashing bottom, like let's go help her out here. Because going top, even if like Rag doesn't die up here, it doesn't really do anything for you guys, you know? You guys, as soon as they match you, you're gonna have to run away, and then there's still potential that Zagara gets ganked. So like that whole time, Zagara has to be scared because she knows you guys are top lane and no one can come help her out. And so yeah, you guys lost all your gems, which really sucks. But it's not the end of the world. It's still winnable.
Seems like a lot of
Oh, that sucks. The anti-synergy.
why? What did we put on top of it?
We Mei walled and self smash at the same time.
I think that's a comms issue.
Well, the combo should be wall then smash.
Yeah, I think Rag just panicked. Like he was worrying about you, so he panicked. So I'd say it's probably more on the Ragnaros player.
Yeah,
To
the wall
trust-
went first.
Yeah, you should just trust that your Mei's gonna wall for himself, or that Rhaegar will save him, or like something else will happen. So you just want to have that trust there of like, because yeah, your ult is mainly used as like a follow-up tool or a kill tool. So you almost never want to use Sylph to like peel for somebody. That's probably like 1% of the time that should ever happen. Like it's almost even better, I'd say, to let someone die and save it for a potential combo later. So yeah, you always want to be using an ult like Sylph aggressive. So yeah, like imagine you saved it, and you could have hit a 3-man on the Mei wall. That could have been a game turner, especially because the Vala is as well. So and also like they're still down ults from the last fight, even though you guys are as well. But I mean, you guys didn't know, but like because they don't have Trank and they don't have Lightning Breath, I think you guys would destroy them here if we had the self smash after the wall.
True.
So yeah, pretty huge missed opportunity here, but it happens. As soon as you miss it though, yeah, you guys gotta just leave, you know. That was kind of the opportunity. But it happens. Yeah, this is a good 3-man split. So sending Rag to the side, this is good because mid was being pressured, but Rag has to watch out. So this is another thing of like, they got top prio. So as Rag, you should know like they could be running mid here soon. So you gotta be really careful about getting, yeah, probably, yeah, you're probably dead. Yeah, so just understanding the prio on the map, and a small map like this, you should always be pretty concerned about being ganked. So just letting the wave crash at your tower first, or at the very least, like kind of hugging the opposite side. So like anytime it's a little sketchy, you want to kind of be hugging outside of tomb range. So at any point here, you can entomb you, and like even if it was just one person, like let's just say a stray Jaina popped up out of nowhere, or like Vala just rotated on her own. So like you saw Diablo here, but it doesn't matter. Like, it could be anyone, right? So just respecting the entomb range, or I mean, if this was a Blaze, respecting his oil and stun range, or Hogger respecting the spin into shockwave or whatever. So just in general, just trying to respect that. Fast rotations can happen on this map. Okay, so at this point, you guys are definitely going to lose the fort. So you kind of want to decide which one you're going to lose. So here, I'd say defending top is probably a pretty good idea. Because they're all here and you can slow them down at least. I don't know. This looks pretty gone though. Thing is, mid is also super low, so it's probably going to die no matter what. So you guys probably lose both forts here. Not much you can do, to be honest. Maybe it would have been better to all go mid, but that's kind of a hard call as well.
Why would it have been better that way?
Just because if they're already gonna get top, right? Like they're overloading top here. So like you guys thought you could have defended, which I honestly I thought you could maybe as well. But like let's say they're gonna get top no matter what, 4v3. They're just gonna pressure you guys with the spider. So maybe it's a better idea for all of you to go mid and instantly clear the spider. That way they can't rotate after top and take mid as well. So instead of sacrificing mid fort and top fort, you save mid fort, but you sacrifice top fort. That's the ideal play, but it's kind of a hard
Okay.
decision to make, right? Because you think maybe you could defend this,
Yeah.
and then what you do is, of course, like the spider would still be up here. So whenever Rack spawns, he would just come up here and clear it under the towers. And while that happens, they could still maybe push mid. So it's not even guaranteed you save mid, but probably would have been better than all going top. Alright, so here, let's see, the Rack fort on mid. Mei wall. Oh. So you could have. One thing you could have done with the Rag is you could have selfed off the Mei slow. This is kind of a hard one because normally you just do it off the wall or stun, right? But he does E-slow the Malfear, so you maybe could have. Oh, you also stun the Malf yourself. Yeah, like right here, while Malf is slowed, you probably could have went for it on Malf. And Malf is your ideal target because he has the cleanse. So if you do it on anyone else, most likely Malf is just going to instantly cleanse it. So anytime you have a shot at Malf, I'd say just take it. So anytime he's slowed like that, whether it's a Mei E or like a totem slow, or even there like you queued him yourself. So like if you expected your Q to land, you could have instantly selfed off of that. But I don't even think you expected your Q to land. I think you were aiming at Leoric there. And Malf just kind of walked into it. Yeah, like this Q. You're
I
like,
guess
yeah,
Melf and not Melf, Diablo and Leo, I guess, are like our least desirable Smash combo targets, I guess, because they can just unstop.
Yeah, Leo can E it, and Diablo's super tanky and has spell shield, so it's pretty tough for you guys to kill their tanks before 16. Once Zagara gets 16, then it's a lot more feasible to start going for them. But yeah, overall, like if Malfurion is ever there, then it's always gonna be kind of a wash of like, unless he's in the combo itself, like up here on the mist one where you guys overlapped, Malf was in it, so like then that's perfect for you guys because you guys hit all of them. But outside of that, yeah, like usually, ideally, you go for the mouth, or you can go for someone else, see if you can bait the cleanse, and then play off of that. But yeah, usually it's better to. I mean, anytime you go for the healer and like any team comp, it's always going to be the best, especially when they have the cleanse for your combo. But yeah, like if you expected mouth to walk into this, you could have selfed off of it, but that's kind of a hard one. I definitely think off of the mace though. Like I think this is a big enough tell for you to try to rip it on the mouth.
Yeah.
And so you rip it, you hit the Leo, but he gets a big trank off. Big entomb as well. And top is still getting value. That's yeah, you guys just lost a 4v3. That's sad. Oh wait, what? Oh wait, no, it's 4v4. Leo's here.
Slightly less sad.
Slightly less sad. 4v4, and you're down a talent. So trying to see how you guys could have played it better. So I'd say the Rhaegar definitely a little too far up here. Should never be getting entombed as Rhaegar, ideally. So there's always respecting that potential of him entombing. So I know you want to help the Mei out, but you could do it from a safer distance. She could always like run to you a little bit instead of you running to her. So that's always a thing with healers as well, is try to make it a habit of like, as a whole team, of people running to the healer instead of the healer running to people. And that'll save you a lot because as a healer, you end up compromising yourself to try to save people a lot more often than you have to. And this is a good example where if you just chilled back a little bit, kind of hung out like over here in this, let me see if I can point to it. If you like hung out kind of over here and then just Mei just walk towards you, then that would have been a lot safer for you because you're still like kind of in the safety of your fort and you're still far enough away. So that would have been a lot better, I'd say, instead of walking towards him. Because yeah, now you get entombed with them, and that's worst case scenario. Anytime a healer gets engaged on, it's worst case scenario because now you have to ancestral yourself instead of Mei. So like, ideally you would have been full HP, you ancestral Mei there, and you guys maybe have a chance to turn that. But instead you have to self cast it because you're a little bit too far up. And yeah, top's getting value. At least Zagara's getting her own fort. Oh, we gotta run for your life. Oh, we don't even get the fort. And you die. Oh man, it's a sad day. Do we die for the fort? Let's go.
That's the idea.
Come on, yeah, the mall too. I love it. Giga Chad. Oh, you got your own fort. Better than nothing, right?
1v4 still got the building.
Call worth. Okay, so here, they're probably gonna pay. They might push bottom. So I like that you guys start rotating down here. One thing is though, is you probably could have left one person top to keep clearing waves. So ideally it would have been Rag, but I think Rag. Actually, let's see where Rag came. So in these situations, like whenever there's a big side wave like this, it's always good for your solo laner, one of your solo laners to come clear it. So what should have happened here is everyone else go bottom to come defend this fort, because most likely they're going to do this camp and push this fort off the Zagara kill, right? And you guys can still defend it if you're 3 men posted down here. And meanwhile, Rag just clears out top waves. And you guys can always leave if it looks too sus, but you should at least be down here ready to defend. So yeah, I just would have liked to see you guys swap this up, or instead of Rag going down here, you have Rag up here and everyone else down here. And it'd be the same thing with Zagara if Zagara was alive, where you'd maybe have her go up here and 3-man, 4-man heroes come match instead. Also, as Rag, maybe could have tagged this camp. I don't know if you did. Okay, you did. That's good. So at least you guys have the camp to defend. But yeah, definitely would have been better for you guys if like Rhaegar and Greymane were here and then Rag was here. Because yeah, now your healer's top, so It's like way scarier for anyone to be over here. This was also a little bit risky, I'd say, from Greymane. Because they all could have. You guys kind of see them hovering around here. And you know your healer's top. So anytime your healer's not there, like if I saw this, I would not path down there. I would have pathed a lot safer.
Okay.
But thankfully they were on their hearts. Because yeah, imagine you ran into Diablo right now. Be super dead. Yeah, thankfully they're on hearts. And okay, so now yeah, you definitely lose bottom fort. So right now you just want to be thinking about saving your keeps and matching them again, and maybe doing what you do in like this part of the game is you do like a 1-4 split. So you'd have your 4 best heroes at defending, matching them, and you'd have one person in the other lane, and you just sacrifice one lane. Okay, so this is already off to a bad start.
Yeah,
This guy
not
was
my
dead.
best
Yeah, a
work.
little bit too far up.
Yep.
So yeah, ideally Rag would have already cleared this way earlier, right? So like this wouldn't have even been a problem. But you do have to like worry about, yeah, as soon as you do this, you could just mount up and leave. And yeah, watching the map as well, like Diablo just went missing.
Yeah, I
So
should have run
that's-
sooner.
Maybe someone could have called it for you too, but yeah, that was like shown on the map, so definitely an easy one to fix.
I was greedy for the lane.
And then so yeah, ideally I think you guys would have just not even gone bottom, by the way, of like no one goes bottom here. Maybe you get this one wave like really quick, but what you do is you match 4 people in the lane they're pushing. So like it looks like they're pushing top. So ideally you'd have 4 people up here, your 4 best defenders. So probably like Ragfort plus Greymane plus Rhaegar plus Mei. And then in mid you'd have your Zagara just side clearing. You would just sacrifice bot at that point. Because bottom is so far, right? It's still a fort. So whichever the furthest lane is in a situation like this, whenever you're really disadvantaged, you just ignore that lane usually.
Would we have Zag clear that mid, or would we have Rag clear that mid just because of the way that their 4-man is? Like Rag is not super. I mean, I guess if he has trait, that's good. But just with the damage that he provides versus the damage that they have.
Yeah, I'd say if he has trait, he should match. But if he doesn't have trait, he should go. And I think he has trait right now. So yeah, he has trait. So I think Rag trait matches. And then as soon as Rag trait is down, then yeah, you would swap the Zag with him. So this is kind of like the one unique scenario. Like any other time it's solo lane, like let's say you have a Blaze or Hog or whatever, he would always be the one side clearing. So like this is like the one exception because you have the Rag fort.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so here you go. Oh, it gets interrupted. Oh, he dies for it though, maybe? Okay, so right there would have been a time for a raw Sulf. Normally, you don't want to use Rag ulti like raw like that, but if this guy does this, this is allowed for you to just pop the Sulfurous Smash. Because he's tanking your towers, so even if it gets insta-cleansed, he's still going to take a ton of damage from that. And it's also very easy to land because he already used his Q, so he has nothing to Q out to. So like normally if he had Q, maybe he'd like Q to this wall down here or something. But so you know he doesn't have Q, you know he's tanking towers, and you know exactly the way he's pathing. So this would have been a good opportunity for you to just throw the Sulfurous Smash on him. And especially because he got bulleted as well. So like yeah, I definitely would have popped it here. As soon as he runs into the team, maybe you hit a 4-man here even. So yeah, that would be the one exception to like, or one of the exceptions I'd say to like using ulti like Sulfur Smash, which is usually a follow-up ulti. Like in this case, you definitely should have popped it here. Yeah, they're like panic tranking and all that. Oh, the mom missed.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, they're out now. That was probably L's best chance to do something. Just him tanking the tower there. Even though like you guys weren't really all in position, this is like such a golden opportunity. Even though you have 3 top here. Yeah, like this should be punished for sure. He just dashed into your base and he's tanking towers the whole way down. See, I mean ideally Mei is there to punish him, which maybe is another thing we talk about of like at this point when top's gone, you kind of change your lanes again. So like at this point, this is the dead lane now. So you have whoever your solo laner is to clear this. So again, it would normally be like the Hogger or Leoric or whatever, but in this case it would be Zagara because Ragnar still has trait. So ideally, Zagara just deals with top right now, and the rest of you guys stack up in mid and be ready to defend mid. So like anytime the lane, there's already like nothing you can do about the lane, you just send your solo laner to clear that, or even sometimes you can just ignore it. So like another thing you guys could have done is completely ignore top and like try to 5-man fight them mid under your fort, because you know that's probably your best opportunity is like them tanking towers since you're like so far behind at this point, or tanking into Rag fort. So yeah, like up here, you guys probably should have left this a little bit sooner and started to defend with everyone. Because like, let's say if Mei was right here, a little bit closer, then it would have been way easier to punish this, right?
I think we also just get the Molten Core off there if the Reg is stepped further back from the keep.
Yeah, maybe could have been a little safer on the cast. I mean, you baited him. You baited him to int, you know? Like, this is huge. Like, him going on this is your best opportunity you're ever going to get in this game. Of like, he shouldn't have done this. He inted here. This was like your golden ticket out. You guys were just not ready for it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's really all it is like very small opportunities. Like probably your outside of the macro rotations, your two biggest mechanical like failures or like mistakes were very, very small things, you know, like right there, that 1 second window of Diablo tanking. Or up here, the overlap on Ice Wall and Rag ulti. Like sometimes just very small things, but they end up being like the biggest difference makers. But if your macro is good, I will say you do have more opportunities, you know. So like the early game playing bot side more, and then like on your first turn in, going bottom faster after Mei died, and just playing the whole mid fight better overall. All of those things like kind of led to this point. So even though you guys
If you had like bot fort down a lot earlier, how would that have changed the game?
So if you have bot for it a lot earlier, it first of all opens up the map for you guys. So you guys will always have bottom priority, which
I think I would go
means
top being Zagara at that point as well.
yeah, maybe you swap your Zag up. Maybe Zag still stays down here, but she's always gonna have prio. So like she can always clear the lane faster than Leo because it's safer for her, and because you're gonna have a catapult reinforced. So you guys are gonna end up being in more 5Vs and just having more prio overall. It's also way easier for you guys to pay in bottom now because they have one less escape path. So like you guys, once you have this fort, you can take over this whole area of like down here. Normally they can run down here, right? And like this is kind of their place. Like this is your guys' base. This is their guys' base. But whenever you get bottom fort, this turns into your base. Like they can't really play down here anymore, like because they have no escape path. So the only place they can play really is towards their mid fort, you know. So it just opens up a lot more on the map for turn-ins and also just map control of like forcing him into bad spots. And same for you guys. Like once you guys lose, let's say your top fort, then you can only play to Stalin from mid. So it makes it way easier for him to pay in top side. So yeah, getting those side forts down is super, super important on this map. And getting any fort down, honestly, like getting the first fort of the game is almost always gonna make sure that you win or like give you really good odds for winning. So it's very, very important to try to play the early game like as smooth as possible. And yeah, you guys definitely had the opportunity. Like even though they got first turn in, you guys defended it really well. And even though you guys messed up the team fight here mid, you still had your Zag like farming the Leoric. So I'd say just in general, like try to pay more attention to like your winning matchups and like playing off of that. But yeah, at this point, there's gonna boss an end, right? Not much you can do. Maybe you guys could have paid, but at this point, it's too late. I wonder if there's a world where you guys turn in. Or is it too late? You guys are just already calling next and comms at this point.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, it's kind of too late. I don't know.
Tried to turn in, maybe.
Yeah, it's a tough one because you guys got the last gems off this wave, right? So by the time you guys all pay and back, they're already on your core.
Yeah.
But maybe you need the spiders to defend.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty tough here. The only thing you could go for is like a miracle engage with the either the maw or the wall.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's a
Oof.
good Diablo kill, but yeah. So yeah, anytime they're sieging core like this, it's always kind of like, and this is same with you. So like core siegers in general, it's always a game of chicken. So you always want to be paying attention to like their positioning and also like the positioning of the objective, whatever it is. So in this case, it's the boss. So if they play 2 on the objective, so right now I'd say like they're playing 2 on the objective, meaning they're positioning very aggressively. That usually means you guys should engage whenever they're playing 2 forward with it. And then, but if you guys try to engage, then they might back up. So you kind, it's like a lot of posturing of like, if they start backing up, then you start hitting the boss and like force them back in. But ideally, you are looking for an engage because there's no way you're gonna defend this unless you kill them. So it's just about like finding the right engage, and a lot of it is just like the positioning and like posturing. A lot of times people int on these core pushes. So, like right there, I'd say was an int because Vala just dashed in front of her entire team.
Yeah, the
So,
Maul
like,
was super close to her. That was what I was going for.
I see, I see. So yeah, like anytime people are core sieging, whether it's you or the enemy team, just watch for the throws because the throws happen a lot, like positional throws. Because people are like, okay, the game's over, like I can go crazy or whatever. But a lot of times, like people ain't like this. I do the same thing where like I start going for KDA or like I just want to end faster, so I go ahead of my tanks. So always look out for this. Ideally, the Mei punishes this, like Mei with the snowball into wall instead of going for the raw maw. But ideally, you both look for it. So this is definitely a missed opportunity here. Of like, you do want to go for the fast fight. So just waiting for them to miss position or so like she vaulted in. You just gotta like try to instantly. Oh, your Q is down, but you could even just eat on her at that point. Just try to set something up like that. But yeah, it's pretty tough, especially as Mei to like get the good engages. She's like
And
so
the Seshal was
funky
a
and
half second late there too.
rip. Oh wait, no, you hit it on. Oh, I see what you mean. You're trying to go for the gray main, but you hit the rag. Even if gray lives, I think it's the wash. The boss is too healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of already GG. But I will say overall on your comp, not really a fan of this comp personally.
Me neither.
I don't know if it's y'all's heroes pools or what, but usually best way to draft this map is to draft like kind of how they did, of just like a standard 4-man with the potential to roam. But I'd say like keep it simple, pick strong heroes. But if you guys do play something like this, then just be aware of like where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. So again, like your strengths were your scaling and the fact that you have so much good PvE, and your biggest strength was your Zagara matchup. So like always understanding what your biggest strength is and trying to play towards that. So since Zagara matchup was your biggest strength, you guys should have just played like bot side more overall. But yeah, that's all I got.
Thanks.
Thank you much.
Yeah, that was illuminating. Really appreciate it.
Any questions before I go?
I don't know if you want to add anything to. I mean, I took a fuck ton of notes here, but then for like big takeaways, I put like everyone just kind of practice knowing where to be, adapt to your draft strengths versus theirs. For example, if they're 4-man's strong, maybe switch a 4-1 to a 1-3-1. Rotate, know your combo, don't overlap spells, play off of your winning matchups. Again, kind of like the draft strengths thing, like rotate bot more, threaten siege camp when we see people missing, or like when we have top prio, that kind of thing.
Yeah, those are all really good notes. I'd say probably the final one I'd add to that is, and it kind of something I touched on earlier, is just trying your best to maximize value and trying to figure out like where value lies. So a lot of that will end up being in rotations. So like for instance in the early game, after you guys did your very first bruiser camp, the value play would have been to instantly do bottom siege because you had like top prio, and also because you had the winning matchup. So instead of like Greymane backing there and you guys just hanging out mid, it would have been better to like, it would have been more valuable to get a bottom pressure, or like just in general like sending Rag to off clear more. It's more valuable for him to be there because instead of him just kind of sitting around mid waiting for the wave to crash because he can't step up into Bala Jaina, he at least gets value from like clearing minions over here. And then again, like in your first turn in, whenever Mei died, instead of you guys going top because there's no value here since the spider is already dead, you guys could have gotten value with your bottom spider here and also like push with the Zagara a bit. So yeah, I'd say, and that applies to like every map and every scenario of like always trying to figure out at any given point where the value is going to be, and that all like depends on what's going on. So like initially the value here was mid going for the engage, but then Mei died. So like in a split second, you have to reevaluate like the entire game state and figure out, okay, Mei just died. We were supposed to be getting value mid. Now we gotta like quickly make a decision on where to go. And like there's no real easy way to like get good at that except like just keep playing and keep learning as a team and like keep discussing things as well. That's a really great way of like something my team does is sometimes we'll have a disagreement in game or like some confusion in game, and I'll like pull up the replay real quick and do a screen share on Discord, and we'll just talk it out. You know, a lot of times we have like different ideas, which is good. Of like maybe two people think that we should have went bottom, but everyone else thinks we should have went top, and then we kind of talk it out and talk about the pros and cons. Like, okay, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? And just having those discussions as a team, you learn a lot about the game, and you also like start to understand each other more as players, and that's kind of how you just become a better team over time. And yeah, just playing more, honestly. You just get more comfortable with each other.
All right. Sounds good.
Alright. Yeah, best of luck, guys. I'm always here if you guys have any questions or anything. You can always message me on Discord.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe we do another session sometime.
Sounds
yeah,
good. Appreciate
no
it.
Alright, I'll have a good one.
Yeah.
Cheers.
You.
Thank you.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hello.
Fancy seeing you all here.
So, what do you guys think?
Pretty good.
I have a bunch of notes and I can share them and stuff. I'm sure everyone probably took a bunch of notes. I don't know if we
I didn't.
do. Wait, you just said you took a.
No, I said I did indeed take notes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah. Is there like a shared Google Drive that we can drop these
I think
into?
we just throw it into like the coaching note thing channel in the Discord usually.
Coaching VODs and notes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll toss those in there before I go to bed tonight.
Yeah,
I
mine's
just
in the
need
form
to-
of a PowerPoint presentation, so
This is
I'll
very
have
funny.
to
What?
change that.
That's sophisticated as shit. All right.
No, that's just the shit I do like every day at work. So, but yes, okay, cool. We'll distill.
You did record it, right?
Yeah, I'm streaming right now still.
Okay, because I'm curious to see what Mesos has to say about it.
Oh yeah, that would be good for sure.
I forgot Crazy was in that game, and I forgot that was the Rag game. But yeah, it seemed like a lot of a lot of stuff for Rag, and a lot of stuff of like, you know, this 1-4 isn't working. Just adapt. It's fine.
As well as the healers staying back and not having to use the healing on themselves.
Yeah. I don't know why they
You
were
know,
so close at that point.
I heard the people coming to the healer is what I know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
but also that the healer shouldn't sacrifice themselves for someone else. So
As a Brightwing
So-
player, that's probably really helpful.
that is very helpful. But yeah, makes sense. Like I mean, as a healer, try not step up, but try to have people come to me a little bit more so, and or Crazy, obviously. But yeah, because I think like if the healer dies, like that's a bigger impact on your team overall and your potential for like next steps than if like the tank dies or one of your DPS and stuff like that.
Yeah, true. I feel that too as a tank. If I'm like playing something immobile like Joe or something where I've already used my my mobility thing, and then I'm like walking to my backline that's getting hit by like a Zera or something, and then I'm just like, no, come back to me. But that usually only happens in like solo queue, very, very rarely and coordinated with this team.
See, that's why you have to get Falling Sword.
I mean, if I'm ever able to get Joe in a game, which is seldom, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down for some Storm League if you peeps are.
No, I have to wake up early tomorrow. Sorry.
Aw, Akari. No, I'm kidding. I'm to
So
play a little
we
bit.
we still have Nexa tomorrow, right?
Yeah, with Can't Connect stuns.
Cool.
Do we
Nice.
know, is everyone gonna be like available tomorrow? What do we know, like who is gonna be on deck? Or
Mesos is going to be on deck, and Nemi's going to be off.
is Crazy on or around or off this week?
I haven't asked, but probably off.
Okay.
All right. See you tomorrow then. Bye bye.
Heck yeah.
Good
Yeah,
night.
see ya,
Good
Akari.
night.
Mega and Nemia, are you folks down to do some games?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I can play a few.
Let me just I'm like super close with this snake bitch, so let me just kill her.
If you're watching the stream, you know that I'm also playing Slay the Spire right now.
Reptomancer. Yeah. Hang on just a second. It's real close.
Super close with this snake bitch? What? How long have you known each other?
You know,
Damn, someone's been
She's,
a real
uh,
Slay the Spire player.
she's a snaky jerk and she brings all of her squiggly, friends with her.
Her squiggly friends. That is the
I don't like-
most fucked up way anyone has ever called her daggers that I've ever heard in my life.
And this is why this is a good streaming game for me, because I don't remember any of the people's names, so I just make up shitty ones.
Whatever works.
Why are your cards like vibrating? Is it just a streaming thing, Protoss?
My cards shouldn't
No.
be vibrating.
I think it's because
Yeah, as you're mousing over it, there's a little bit of like wobble on the card.
Like-
It's a little weird. If I was not sober, this would be very weird.
That's bizarre. Shouldn't? I'll have to watch my stream back later because it should be very smooth.
it's this, like how they're vibrating, like the stuff, the do. I think it's just saying like, hey, you can use this. But this one doesn't have it because it's like, by the way,
do
you can
mean
only
like
play
the
it if you have.
pulsating blue aura?
Or do you mean like if I just go like this? Doodle-oo-loo-loo-loo. No one knows.
Nobody knows.
Soak will not tell us anymore. Now let me think.
Guess I should
Oh,
check.
there's so many things to do here.
I feel like there's exactly one thing to do here.
Really?
Play hot.
Yes.
Play hots. I'm being asked
Oh.
by fake Mesos if I'm able to fill for a Nexo game at the moment. So if you guys just want to play Slay the Spire tonight, I'll pop over there. But if you want to play
No.
some hots,
I just want to
I
kill
am
this
both in
lady
the
so I
Nexus
can
and in the
not
Spire.
have another game going at the same time I'm trying to play hots and just
Not gonna
absolutely
lie, I'm
wreck
being
my.
like really fucked up by what your resolution is. Like your monitor is a square.
It is a square. You
What
don't
the
like
fuck?
that? I like the square. I like
What the
it.
fuck?
I love a good square. Come on. Okay, there we go. Cool. We killed her. We are good. I'm on my way to win. It's gonna happen
Gonna win the video game
one of these days.
one of these days.
One of these days. Hey, I think it's gonna happen this time. Did you see? I had 2 of the keys, or
I
whatever they're
well, I
called.
can't tell what your deck is, so it's hard for me to judge.
Yeah.
I saw that you had Clash in it, which is generally not an advisable move.
No, it's
Um,
not good. I was like, I wonder if Clash will be good. And I'm like,
The
it's
answer to
been
that
used
question is
once.
never yes.
Yeah, exactly.
There are very few cards that are like never good. That one's you could be pretty confident is
Yeah.
not going to be it. Like,
You know, I got it when my I took your advice, which was lots of attacks early,
okay,
and
like,
then you can build for block
there are
later. And I was like,
unpickable
I do
attacks.
have lots of attacks. Yeah, I was like, I do have a lot of attacks.
I said attacks, not curses. There is a bit of a difference there.
Hey. Come on. Oh shit, I don't know if I can play with you guys because
Oh.
I am a silver and I can't play
If
with
we have a
Protoss
5-step
because
we can
he's
play,
good.
otherwise I'll just swap to a Smurf.
My account's in diamond right now.
Do you have a
Oh
Smurf,
no,
Smurf as
see,
well,
I
Nemi?
can't play with you guys.
Do you also
Do you
have
have a
Smurf,
Smurf
Nemi?
soak?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Ugh.
Quick match
Okay,
time.
well, you guys enjoy.
Do you
I don't have a
one I
Smurf.
could use?
Quick match time.
All right, fuck it.
Would you? Would you mind?
What, quick match? Sure.
I'm gonna stop streaming now.
Yeah.
It's either this or I bounce, and I